morning. Charlie O'Hara here, ready to answer your legal questions. If you have one, get on the line right now. Give us a call. Charlie just told me something very interesting. You know, our neighbors next door, Colorado, have run into a lot of issues as far as legalizing marijuana goes because of the state laws and the federal laws. And now they're running into money, depositing the cash they're getting from those marijuana sales. Well,
the problem is it's still against the law federally. In other words, the United States government, it's against the law to have to sell marijuana, possess marijuana. Now, they're not really necessarily prosecuting those small cases and those places that are selling marijuana in Colorado, but all the banks are federal banks. And so when those companies that sell marijuana want to put their money in the bank is scared they're committing a federal crime by knowingly taking marijuana money. And I think it's becoming a real problem. And I really don't know what the solution to that is, but a number of banks will not take the money.
Well, and so now there are reports of people being robbed.
That's correct.
There are places of being robbed.
Well, everything has a lot of consequences, collateral consequences of what you do. So in this instance, when they're selling the marijuana, they don't know what to do with the money, so they're evidently keeping it there in cash. And then they're obviously somewhere that they can easily rob and take a lot of money. Now,
this is something that we've talked about before, you know, discrepancy between state laws and federal laws.
And it applies in other places, too. I mean, obviously the abortion problem, it's applied. One state is more liberal on abortions than another. It's applied in gay marriages. It's applied in the marijuana laws. I mean, all those laws are different in each state. And what do you do if somebody is married in one state legally and they're gay, and they move to another state where it's illegal? Now, what do you do? Is it a legal marriage when they move in there? Do you recognize that? If they have children, what do you do with the children? I mean, it's just a real mess.
So where do you see this going forward?
Well,
do you think they'll ever get on the same page?
I think they're going to sooner or later have to be consistent within the states of what's legal and not legal, because it just creates chaos, and that's what we're kind of getting into now.
Well, is that something then that would come down from like the federal level then, or the Supreme Court? How does that work?
Well, I think probably in relation to gay marriage that probably the Supreme Court sooner or later will make it consistent, because one state has to be able to recognize the other state. Now, there's some arguments that even in the marijuana laws, the other state should have to recognize the laws of that state. And so that hasn't gone clear through the courts. And who knows what the court will rule on either one of those. But I would think at some stage the court's going to have to rule, get some consistency. We don't want chaos in our society.
Well, and at this point, is this something that's been like this in years past, or is this kind of a new thing? I mean, you've been in law for a long time, seeing this federal and state laws not match up.
Well, I mean, there's always been a little bit of it, but some of them have really come forward here lately.
Just really big issues.
Yeah, here lately, ones that are really causing serious ramifications. Obviously, the gay marriage thing, I mean, people get transferred all the time from one state to the other, and when they go from one state to the other, now that they're married in one state, or they're going to another state and get married and come back and living here, and so what is their status? It's a real problem.
So I guess we'll see. What do you think in the next couple of years?
Yes, I think it'll go, especially gay marriage will probably accelerate through the course. Now, what happens on the marijuana, I don't know. That may take a long time.
Okay, well, thank you, Charlie. Very interesting perspective. We appreciate it.
Sure.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.
We'll be back with more Eyewitness News coming up next on KSCW. Stick with us.
Expect more on KSCW. This is Eyewitness News This Morning in high definition. Online at kwch.com. Follow KWCH on Facebook and Twitter.